So, welcome back to Autori. We're going to cover the news that piqued my interest for this week. So, let's get right in. The first one is on the medical side of things. So, Google's built medical AI that can train itself and apparently outperforms real doctors. Now, this advancement in the medical side of things was produced by DeepMind. DeepMind is an AI research lab that Google purchased a few years ago, and it's been working on different aspects, and they've produced some great discoveries over the last few years. So the very latest one is the medical side, and they got it to a point where it's able to essentially do better diagnosis and produce better performances than actual doctors. So this is state of the art, and Google is bragging about it. So that's something good for this week. The next news is AlphaFold. Again, this is from DeepMind, and it's specifically in the area of biology, and it's something to do with the protein fold problem. They've now found a solution, and with their research, they're able to untangle the proteins within the cell of humans. Apparently, this is a problem that's caused by the attraction and the negative attraction and positive attraction of the different cells within, or the different proteins within the cell, and the opposite forces cause the cells to fold, or the specific part of the cell to fold, and that's what they've managed to detangle. So the protein folding problem is what, from their website, is saying it's a way to unravel a protein, and once that's unraveled, they're able to predict a bit more what the protein should look like. Now, the benefit of this research is that they're now able to solve some of the problems that have been outstanding in the medical field for a long time. So they mentioned things about the issues with antibiotics and resistance to antibiotics. They might be able to do research on that field. They've opened it up to researchers, and it's free to access. So this is the a breakthrough that they've released is in the biology field. So it is fantastic news. The next article that's worth considering this week is that there's a new robot in town, and this time can do amazing things. So it was released by a firm in China, and it's meant to be cutting edge. So let me just play this video that shows what it can do. It's called Astrid S1. In the video, it's able to fold clothes, open a bottle of beer, open a bottle of wine. It's meant to be very, very quick, and I think it's meant to be one of the best in the world, if not the best at this point in time. So it's very, very fast, and you can see it's just been able to pull that cloth from underneath the stack of glasses. And it's able, obviously, to use vision, which is the next big thing. So a question to ask is there really demand for these robots, and what is the plan? But from what I can see from the video, it is quite good. If you can hear the audio, it's a bit janky in places, but I think that's to be expected, and that's something that can be resolved eventually. It's able to flip a sandwich in a frying pan, which I suppose it's good. And as you can see there, it's peeling a cucumber. So this is I'll leave a link to this video in the comment section, so you can have a watch later on. So that's the news from China. The next article that is worth considering is Yelp. Yelp is like Yellow Pages of old, for those who remember what that is. But essentially, they've come up with an assistant that can help you find companies that can provide services to you. So the example they've given is, if you want to replace your bathtub, and the chap the chatbot can ask you different questions, and then based on the answer you've provided, it would be able to find the businesses that can solve that problem for you. So it can either do it automatically, or you can give it instructions on what it should do. So Yelp was generally used in the past as a directory of businesses, and any business you wanted to find for a particular problem, you just go through the pages or go through their website to find the businesses that are able to solve whatever problem you have. In this case, it's essentially an AI chatbot that would do all of that for you and can do some of it autonomously. Okay, so ChatGPT now has memory, and this memory is released, or this memory feature is now released across the world, with the exception of, I think, Europe and Korea. So ChatGPT's memory works in two ways. It makes the ChatGPT's responses more personalized. So the first way is the first is by letting you tell ChatGPT to remember certain details. And the second is by learning from your conversations. So the certain details that it'll remember would be instructions that you give it, like system instructions. So if, for instance, you want it to always process your questions as a particular persona, you could give it that instruction and it would remember that. And then it can monitor the conversations that you're having on an ongoing basis. And then using that information, it can tailor responses to any subsequent questions to meet the criteria or the kind of persona it thinks that you'd want. So it's, there's obviously the concern around privacy and whether OpenAI would use that information for training. Apparently, you can tell it to forget anything that you don't want it to remember, so you can get it to remove things from its memory. I think you have to specifically tell it not to use any of that information to train its models down the line. So this article it gives you an idea as to what that feature looks like. So you can go in there and look at the memory feature, and you can select what it can delete or otherwise. Yeah, so I agree with this sentiment from The Verge's David Pierce. Some people find this a bit creepy, but I'd argue that it's currently doing that now anyway without telling you. So this just gives you the ability to remember or to control what it can remember about you. So this next piece of news is from China again. They've released a text to video large model that they reckon can compete or match the Sora level of videos. So a few weeks ago, I think a few months now, OpenAI released a text to video model called Sora, and there was a huge amount of expectation that the Sora would completely replace all video creators and graphic designers. But most people still haven't gotten their hands on Sora. It's meant to exist, but no one's seen it yet, or well, some people have, but not the general public. So China's come up with something that is meant to be quite good, but again, it's not been tested. The marketing will show it as amazing, but until we have something to do with it as on a personal basis, you can't really say. But it's wonderful that many organizations are trying to compete against Sora, and according to their benchmarks, are doing quite well, if not better than Sora. So that's something to look forward to if you're into text to video or video creation. The next piece of news is 11 Labs. So this article from 11 Labs music generation. So they are essentially competing against the likes of Udio and what's the other company? I can't remember the other company. The name fails me now. But Udio can generate music just based on simple prompts and simple instructions, and it'll generate an entire song. So 11 Labs traditionally does voice and audio. So it could do voice cloning, and it can create AI voices and AI text, not AI text, AI voices or voice files based on information that you provide to it. So uh, 11 Labs was recognized to be the best at the AI voice of any like a piece of text that you give you type into their prompt to generate voice files or generate audio. So essentially, the usual use case for 11 Labs would be if you have a script that you want read by a machine, you could just type it into their portal, their website, and they are able to generate an audio file. And theirs was the most realistic and has been the most realistic for a long time. So now that they're into music, they shared on here an example of what their music sounds like. I don't know if my audio is shared, but I'll play it anyway. I'll put the link in the video comments. And the music was quite nice. I played it earlier. I can't hear it. But okay. Anyway, I'll put the link if you want to check it out. Okay. So yeah, so they're just adding to the services that they're capable of offering. Right. So let's pause that, and then onto their competition, Udio. So Udio. Right. So in this case, Udio has introduced audio in painting. So audio in painting is essentially where if there's any string or any part of a song that you do not like or you want replaced, you could just select that section and get it to replace that section of the track, and then it's able to fill in that section with whatever you suggest or automatically fill it in. So if we have a look at what they shared online, where's it going? Okay. Right, okay. So today we're delighted to launch Audio in Painting, an innovative feature that allows you to seamlessly edit and refine your audio tracks. So with the Audio in Painting, you can select a portion of a track to regenerate based on the surrounding context. So let's see what it's, if it would play. So they highlight the timeline for the song, and as you can see, there's a section in there that they're able to replace. So this article just this page on Reddit just gives you an example of what they mean and how you can replace different sections of the audio track. So that's Udio. The next one is more to do with the built environment. Microsoft is building a data center, just an AI data center, so dedicated to that. So this is a fresh announcement. 3.3 billion investment in Wisconsin to spur artificial intelligence innovation. So Microsoft is playing really, really big in this space, and it's quite a huge amount dedicated just to the data center. And I'm sure it will be there in a few years' time to keep them at the forefront of what's happening in AI. So here, this piece gives us an idea as to what's likely to happen down the line. So firstly, Microsoft will invest 3.3 billion between now and the end of 2026 to expand its national cloud and AI infrastructure capacity through the development of a state-of-the-art data center campus in Wisconsin. And the project is expected to bring an influx of 2,300 union construction jobs to the area, as well as providing long-term employment opportunities for next year. So that's good news, and that bodes well for AI and the future. So the final news article I want us to look at is Tesla. So Tesla's autopilot feature has been under scrutiny for a few years now, and it's purely because quite a few accidents have been recorded because of people using autopilot, and in a lot of the cases they've not reacted as one would if they were completely in control of the car driving. So they've revisited the investigation in America because they feel the NHTSA, which is the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration in America, feels that the fix that was released by Tesla the last time may not have fixed the problem properly or as well as they would have liked. The issue isn't so much that the feature itself is unsafe, but the use of it is unsafe. And what that means is that some people just perhaps turn on the autopilot and then forget that they are actually in a moving vehicle. And rather than staying aware of what's happening on the roads, they get distracted or they fall asleep or go on their phones. So the accusation here is that Tesla makes it too easy for people to put on the autopilot and just forget about it. So I suspect what they want is a bit more human involvement, even though the autopilot is running. But we'll watch this space and see how they get on with it. So that brings us to the end of the news articles I wanted to cover. Yes, I'll be back next week with another top 10 news articles for the week. But until then, stay tuned, do subscribe to the channel, and I'll keep bringing you information.